Welcome! With me are Heather C. Harris and Ruby Coleman. I am Helen Gulish, SoulGeek.com's resident geek dating advice guru. And we are the Muses. This week's topic is actually a two-parter. This is part one of the boundaries, where we discuss physical boundaries. And Heather, I'm going to start with you.
My experience with boundaries has to come from probably my cosplay experience. I would have to say I was more of an introvert. I do have claustrophobia too, so I don't like a lot of people crushing me, you know, really close when I don't know you. Like it freaks me the hell out.
You sound like my husband.
So it's a good example of where a relationship is, as in like if you are in a relationship, you know, you should know that, well, I don't like it when somebody touches my face or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? The same thing with cosplay. It's like, okay, if you want to take a picture with me, make sure that your hand, if you're going to put your hand around me, it stays at this level, belly button level.
Yeah.
You know, around my waist, no matter where.
Yeah.
You're not going to go higher and you're not going to go lower.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's the same as dating.
So it's the same as dating.
Don't
whether
assume.
you're in a short-term relationship or a long-term relationship, you have to, you know, respect that.
I totally get that because at the time where I was dating, you know, I was dating my husband, it was like that, where it was just like, oh, you know, he wanted to date, and I just was like, you know, he just wanted to date. He didn't want to do anything further than date, you know.
Just seeing each other.
Yeah, just see each other. Let's see how it goes. You know, he was like,
more traditional.
he was like, let's take it slow, you know. And I was like, no, but I really like you. And he's like, and then he's like, no, you're suffocating me. Stop. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and when
wow, Ruby, I'm learning something new about you, girl.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I love you. I know how much I did that to you. But then I got to know that, and, you know, I got to know that very quick.
But you respected that, obviously.
I respected that. If you like somebody, you're going to respect their boundaries, you know? So there was times where we went to Magic Mountain, and I knew that he didn't like being so close to people. And Magic Mountain, of course, there's lines, and you have to be close to that person. So I would see him kind of like sweating and, oh, God, like, I don't know what to do. And I'm in front of him, and I'm like, and I just took the cue, and I was like, hey, why don't you get ahead of me? I'll put that boundary of that other person that you don't know, and you set the space of the person in front of you. Yeah.
That's nice.
And knowing that, I know him that much. And I think it's more of the fact that I got to know him more of his he has a lot more boundaries than I do. I'm very like inclusive,
open. You're more an extrovert.
I mean, come on, you guys know most of my life now. It's one of those things where, well, then he has a long line of
and that's
OCDs.
hard stuff to admit to somebody. You know, when you have these quirks and everything, OCD, PTSD. You know,
he was very open.
It's not something that you take lightly as a person,
and it's not something that you're
first
just like
going to
talking
talk about
to everyone.
Right? Exactly. Unless you're really interested in that person, you know, not to lose them or something. But there was the point where he didn't know. I started noticing his boundaries.
Did he ask for you to set your own rules, like? Or was he not that blunt?
He with me, as in me setting the rules, you mean?
Like telling you, like, hey, why don't you have some rules for yourself? You know, maybe I should take a clue from him to
set my own,
to set your own.
You know, I have
grow as an individual as well as in the relationship.
I have my own pet peeves,
right?
But it's not to the extent of having to, like, say, I just don't like you being, like, this close. Like, I know how to take myself from those boundaries and just see, like, okay, this person's way too close. I'm going to move myself. I'm going to remove myself.
Now let's go to Ruby for her advice.
So my advice is, as an extrovert, it is fine to, you know, ask them, be respectful, of what their boundaries are, talk to them, you know, just ask them a simple question if they feel like. Learn body language first off. Like, don't assume that it's okay when they say, "Oh, okay," and they're doing this. Like, you know, come on, take a cue, step back, ask anybody what their boundaries are. I mean, sometimes, you know, you don't have any, but maybe they do on that certain topic or subject or thing. You just don't know. So ask. And be respectful of their answer, you know, because also you got to respect it. So that's pretty much my advice is just ask, you know, or take a social cue off it, you know. So that's what I think you should do.
Mm-hmm. And now to Heather. What's your advice?
So my advice is for you introverts. I know that it can be hard for you to go out, be social, and even have some kind of physical socialization with other people. And it could cause like panic attacks or anxiety. Make sure that you can find a nice, happy place. Breathe. I definitely do like Pilates and yoga to try and quench that. But always test yourself to draw yourself out of that, I think,
comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Basically.
Get
because
yourself out there for a while.
I mean, the cosplay did that for me. It helped me as in, you know, step out of that Heather zone for a moment and, you know, be able to have a socialization. So when you have that, just take it and go with it, run with it, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's it for part 1. Tune in next week for part 2 where we discuss emotional boundaries.
Subscribe.
And
always like us. And if you would like to find a geek of your own, go to www.soulgeek.com. Thank you for watching.
Bye.